Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host for today's broadcast, Insane Layer 13. I want to welcome you here to a 20th round of the XRL X3 season. We're running at China. It's going to be one of the last normal races on the calendar. The last 3 races this season are all going to be on brand new tracks for XRL. Before we get too far into this, though, I just want to bring up some of the big topics. Again, big fight when it comes to both manufacturers championship, although that is starting to go more and more in Ferrari's way, and also big fight when it comes to the drivers championship as well. A lot of crazy stuff has happened over the last week or so. We'll talk more about the points a little bit later. China has been a very destructive race, but not as much as we've seen in other weeks past. The big thing that's been happening here, though, is that the field has been getting very spread out in a lot of these events. And because of that, there ends up being not a whole lot of racing. Strategy seems to be more of a keen here than anything else. Sadly, we do not have points updated after last week's event either, so that's going to hurt. But we are anticipating that leading the points would have been Shelby Spark coming out of today's race after Stone Shuffle crashed out and Gusty just barely brought the car home to a finish. So, regardless, messy run at China qualifying last week. Not China qualifying, I'm sorry. Messy run at Yas Marina this week. Now, again, we're anticipating to see the field get a lot more spread out here. Sector 1 is a very technical, kind of a slow sector, considering the extremely long turn 1, followed by extremely long turn 2. Sector 2 is almost all middle speed corners, very, very aggressive when it comes to aerodynamic setup. And then Sector 3 is pretty much just a few tight, slow corners and long straightaways. Can anyone hear me? Hello, can you hear me? Okay, that was weird. Controller just decided to randomly die on me, despite having a nearly full battery in charge. But anyways, we look at Mantic Meerkat, and the Aston Martin. He is the first driver to get out onto the circuit here. Already navigating the first of 2 hairpins that are on this track. You're starting to see now the second Mercedes at Stone Shuffle. He's coming out onto the circuit. "19 drivers for today's race. Here's one of the McLaren drivers, XRL Snake. He's finally taken to the track. And this is Gusty, one of your 3 main championship contenders. Although it should be said, and I've said this before, I'll say it again, there are 2 drivers who are starting to close in on the championship, but one of them, V8 Irons, is not showing up for today's race, apparently. However, XRL Jigsaw, formerly known as XRL Fiend, also has begun to have a good string of results over the last few weeks, and he may be able to vault himself into potential championship contention. So we may have a 4 or 5 car fight for a title going to the end, but the main 3 is still Chubby Spark, XRL Gusty, and Stone Shuffle. You can see the Red Bull holding up Herbago there. Herbago actually looks like he's going to go ahead and... They're both trying to maximize acceleration through the final corner and save as much fuel as possible. And Gusty goes off, and Herbago spins right across the line. That is why you don't want to come to a complete stop coming to the line there. The good news for Herbago and for Gusty is that there's no damage to either of the cars. The bad news, though, is that because of that little shenanigans, they've missed pit lane entry. They better hope that they have enough fuel, or can at least save enough fuel to get a proper lap in. This is his teammate Stone Shuffle, who's already crossed the line, is in the middle of a lap now. Levin in the Haas is in the middle of a lap. But right now, it looks like the first driver who's going to try and get a lap in is going to be XRL Snake. He went ahead and overtook Mantic Meerkat in the warm-up. So Snake going to try and be the first driver to get a lap in, and will set the bar that everyone else will have to chase. Snake, 132.865, and it looks like the Haas of Geleben has had a spin back there in Sector 2. Anyways, now we see Plastic Love. He's coming down. Gusty has, I don't know if he's run out of fuel or, no, it doesn't look like he's run out of fuel, but he's come to nearly a dead stop to let other drivers go. And that's Stone Shuffle. No, I'm sorry, that's Herbago up there. So both Gusty and Herbago trying to game the system. But we're going to go silent for a lap and right on board with Plastic Love as he takes his Red Bull on a full speed run, try and get a lap in here at China. And a big spin by Plastic Love in the middle of his lap. It's still legal, but for all intents and purposes, that's wasted tires and wasted fuel. And he'll have to hope he can make something of that later. Mantic Meerkat also, during that lap, had a few incidents, and he has ripped the entire front nose off that car on his flyer. Now he's low on fuel, so this track in its technical sector 2 is giving a lot of issues to several different drivers here. Herbago has, however, gotten a lap in the books, or at least trying to. Stone Shuffle is at the top of the timesheets right now with a 32.557. Herbago, his Mercedes teammate, trying to get a good run down to the line. He's low on fuel, but as he overtakes, that's Gusty there he's going to overtake. And as he overtakes Gusty, that should enable him to get across the line. Spun earlier, but no issue this time. So across the line for Herbago, 133.751. Gillette improves off of his time earlier. He puts down 33.258. Plastic Love, 159.181. It's legal, but it's extremely off pace. So he's having a lot of trouble right now trying to get a lap in, it would appear. And just to add to it, just behind him is Harry, and then ahead of Plastic Love right now is a bunch of other drivers. That's Geleben, who pulls off circuit there. Oh, and Herbago has, it looks like the going hard on fuel and, trying to recover from strategy may have turned against him, because now it looks like Herbago is starting to run into issues with fuel and may not have fuel to make it to the end. Jigsaw sets a 32.445 meanwhile. A bunch of cars all kind of gathered on top of each other right now on the circuit. Stone Shuffle pulls over again to let other drivers. A lot of start and stopping across the entire circuit. For Plastic Glove, he's finally going to be able to come across and get a lap in by the looks of it. And for Plastic Glove, he'll finally get a time down, 133.609. We're going to go ahead, ride... Oh, Constant Jet's having an issue now. We're going to go ahead and ride silently for a lap on board with Harry 5902. See what he can do in a lap here. And Harry puts down a time, 132.603, so a very competitive time. But you saw there one of your championship contenders, Shelby Spark, have a spin coming onto the back straightaway. So that lap kind of thrown away. He's going to go and wind up for another one, though. And we also saw Dave Ewart have an accident that took him out. We could see the carcass of his car. So while one Alfa Romeo gets a top 3 time, the other is not going to be able to set a time whatsoever. We're going to try and get Dave Ewart into the party here real quickly. Eleven drivers have set competitive lap times right now. Constant Jet and Mantic Meerkat both in the middle of lap. In fact, you see Constant Jet on the map. He crosses the line. Also at 149.75, so not a very competitive time for Constant Jet either. Ooh, twitch there. It looks like that Ferrari is not very well set up today. But he's got a good run onto the back straightaway this time. I see Harry pulling over there on the back straightaway. Low on fuel, so he'll probably bring it into the pits here. But Stubby coming to the line. Now, it looks like he has enough fuel if he so chooses. He could decide to go for another lap. 132.844, so a competitive time by the Ferrari driver. Flavor out on circuit right now, but he's invalidated his first attempt. Mantic Meerkat has basically thrown away this attempt, so he wants more clean track to utilize, and just ahead of him on the circuit, that is Constant Jet. Jet trying to go for a proper lap time this circuit. Finally scored his first points earlier in the season. And he will set a time 134.526, still the slowest, as Meerkat 144.262. But Meerkat has the fuel to go for another run. Flavors invalidated his lap, Fratters is on an out lap, and Schumacher, the second Ferrari, is coming out of the final corner now to begin his flyer. So at the moment, everyone who has times are in a position that they will advance to the next round. And this man here, Schumacher, will be the next driver we're anticipating to see go and set a lap. Good run down to the first of the 2 hairpins on the circuit. And now onto the back straightaway goes Schumacher. His teammate Chevy Spark has pulled into the pits. We're gonna see we're gonna see Constant Jet come into the pit lane now. Gotta be very careful with the curbs in the last corner. It's very easy to spin off of them. Schumacher, second fastest time in the session, 1:32.454. That's only 9 thousandths off of Jigsaw's time right now. So now the focus goes to Flavor and Fratters. Mantic Meerkat with a 44.262 is the driver on the bubble right now. And here comes Fratters. Ooh, really wide. I'm shocked that didn't end up coming as a DQ. Fratters, 134.404. That's good enough to get him up to 14th. Flavor crosses the line even faster, so now Flavor is in, 34.152. Fratters is on the bubble. Constant Jet and Mantic Meerkat on the outside looking in. X hits the spot, is coming to the line to get his lap in now. X, very interesting decision on his part. Looks like he engaged the ERS coming out of the hairpin, so he didn't try to do any shenanigans of pulling back coming to the final corner. He tackled that final corner full speed by the looks of it, trying to get into the rhythm here on the circuit. Ocean Lion retires in the pits. He feels as 33.229 will be good enough to keep him in. As we watch the Williams now going through Sector 2. His teammate is just retired. Feels confident. If X makes a mistake here, he will have time to get one more lap in at least. As we see Schumacher SF7 coming into the pits now. Both Flavor and Fratters are slow on the back straightaway. I think they only filled up enough for one lap, and they're likely going to be coming in. Constant Jet on an out lap as well. He's going to try and go for one more shot to get into the next round of qualifying. X going to have to avoid the AlphaTauri. Not too much of an issue for him by the looks of it. Power down out of the final corner. It will be a respectable time, a very good time. Best time we've seen thus far, 1:32.016. So now Fratters is on the outside looking in, and Flavor is on the bubble. Mantic Meerkat still in pit lane. It does not look like he's going to have time to get back out onto the circuit and go for another run at it. Fratters is up by 3/10 right now in Sector 1 alone. So with that kind of improvement, he would be able to squeeze Flavor out, but he needs to maintain it across the rest of this lap. Ooh, that was close, but it looks like he still has control of the car. But did that cost too much time? Across the end of Sector 2. He's up, he's more than doubled the amount of time he's up by. Last 15 seconds of this session. Fratters and Constant Jet trying to squeeze Flavor and Plastic Love out of Q2. He's in. 33.997. So now the question is Constant Jet. It seems like getting into 33s is almost a guarantee to make it to the next round. Can Constant Jet do it? At the end of Sector 2, is he up on time? He is, by half a second. But that might not be enough. He needs to improve just a little bit more. There will be absolutely no traffic on the circuit. All eyes are on the Alpine of Constant Jet. Hairpin for the final time in this session. Out of the final corner, did not maximize the exit, but he avoided the curb. He's in! Fratters is out! And Constant Jet ends in with a 33.605. A great run there, and Plastic Love barely squeaks in. So a great job. And there's your final results. Exits the spot though in the Williams. Outstanding job at the top 32s. So it looks like we have 9 drivers who set times in the 32 range. And Fratters, although he did hit the 33, it just was not enough. Being about a third of a second off of Plastic Love, actually closer to a fourth of a second off of Plastic Love, and that keeps the second McLaren from advancing to the next round here. As we prepare to get underway now for Q2. Is now begin to load up the circuit for Q2. This is where the tire strategy comes into play. So the first driver to get out on circuit is going to be the Ferrari, but not Shelby like we normally see. It's actually going to be Schumacher SF7. With Schumacher, took a little bit of a break last week, didn't appear last week, dealing with some personal issues, so he had to step away for a bit. But he's back. He's trying to help his teammate win the Drivers' Championship and trying to bring Ferrari the Manufacturers' Championship. And behind him on track there is Herbago, so number 2 in both the Mercedes and Ferrari camp. On circuit, now we see Shelby goes ahead and goes by Schumacher on circuit. So I guess the two of them have really significantly underfueled their car, and they're just creeping around the circuit here to try and, I guess, maximize whatever they can do. Interesting decision by Shelby. Normally when he goes out, he sets his first lap in Q2 on soft tires and doesn't press the ERS at all, but right now he seems to be doing the medium run, which is normally what he does on his second time out. So, interesting choice by the Ferrari driver. Again, there are 2 long straightaways here. So long at the first straight alone, DRS doesn't really kick in until you get to about 40% of the way down it. So I'm interested to see if Shelby's going to go full bore on this with ERS, or if he's still going to hold back and spin the lap, you know, reserving some in the tank. All right, he's on it. So what normally comes later in the session for Shelby, he's going for right away, very wide in what's basically the second apex for turn 1. But the first driver who's going to set a lap time in this section is going to be XRL Snake. The only McLaren to have made it into this round. Oh, Shelby's had an instant. Shelby's pulled over and has aborted his lap. Interesting. But yeah, Snake is going to be the first driver to get a lap in this session. 53.062 at the end of Sector 2. He is on the soft tire compound. Right now, the advantage seems to be in the favor of the mediums. 7 drivers on softs, 8 on mediums. Into the hairpin now for McLaren. And that's Lucky Do in the AlphaTauri behind, as his teammate was not able to advance either. Now the final corner, the time that everyone's going to be chasing from Snake is 33.821. I imagine we'll see that time fall without too much of an issue. Lucky Do coming across the line in the medium, so faster time right away on the mediums, 33.769. And now it goes to Herbago. No, not Herbago, sorry. It goes to... Oh, it's going to be a while until we see the next driver, apparently. But yeah, it will be Herbago who'll be the next driver across the line by the looks of it. And then he'll be joined afterwards by Schumacher. Out of the final corner for the Mercedes. On the medium tires, 135.389, so not a great time. He's low on fuel as well, so I would not have a lot of confidence in this lap. I don't know if it's just the tires or something else, but it's not looking good for him. Bit of a hiccup there for Lucky Do, and that's Boothie, who is also taking the top spot now with a 33.147. Boothie, one of the better qualifiers in the series. And now Shelby goes across the line. Very, very irrelevant time, though, 2 minutes and 25 seconds. We'll see him likely put a proper time this circuit. Jalebin crosses the line to get a lap started, and Plastic Love is now in the middle of the lap. That's the Ferrari Schumacher he's ahead of. Stone Shuffle also out on circuit, trying to get a lap in on the soft tires. Harry's in the middle of the lap right now as well, but he's into the grass. Took it a little bit too tight, coming onto the back straightaway. Is really going to compromise his time there. Oh, and Shelby's had a spin. Constant Jet now begins a lap. Stone Shuffle has gone to third, 33.779. This is Plastic Love on the run down to the hairpin now. Comes out, and it's just one more corner left for him. His teammate Gusty has not yet gotten a lap in. He is in the middle of an out lap, though. Oh, big twitch by Plastic Love. He's into the wall. He's out. A massive twitch coming out of the final corner, and Plastic Love crashes out of Section 2 of qualifying. You can see the right front pushed in on that car. So now the focus goes to his teammate Gusty. All right, and coming. And come on, party work. Party work, please. Plastic, can you hear me? It seems like Xbox is doing nothing but giving fits today. Plastic Love, can you hear me? He may not be able to hear. I can't seem to hear him either. I'm not even sure if the Twitch stream is pulling up my audio right now, even. And Exits the Spot now has had a spin there in Sector 1. Boothie now goes to the top, 32.640. that's over a full second faster than the next fastest guy right now. All right, and coming into the party now is Plastic Love. Plastic, can you hear us?
I sure can.
All right, go ahead and include your audio. A twitch in the final corner on your flyer lap sends you into the wall. What happened out there?
And just coming to the last corner, I didn't brake enough, clearly, and I hit the curb and went straight to the gravel trap. Couldn't slow down. Just hit the wall.
All right, nasty impact, but it looked like you had a good time going there. Do you think you can rebound in the race and get back into the points-paying positions?
I hope so. You know, if not, you know, I'll just help Gussie out as much as I can.
All right, so yeah, that comes to the other point. Your teammate Gusty, he's not set a time yet in the session, although it looks like he's about to. What do you think is the chances for the Red Bull team as a whole this weekend?
You know, Gussie does solid every weekend, so good stuff comes out of him, and then it's just mostly me. That's, you know, the deciding factor if I have a good race or not. So we'll hope.
All right, well, I do want to say thank you for being willing to jump in and talk with us. It's a shame to see that happen to you, but it's a long race here at China. Strategy might fall your way.
Thanks for having me.
All right, and now Gussie crosses the line, and he will set a time 1:33.890. Coming into the party now is Constant Jet. Jet, we did not get to see it, but before we talk about what happened in qualifying session 2, you put down a great run at the end of Q3, so good job there. It's a shame to see it end here in Q2. What happened?
The power didn't go too much coming onto the black straight. So, I know what I've done. I kind of hope I start a length, so I get a free choice of tyres. But don't know if I will.
Nah, you should still get a free choice of tires because you're not going to advance to the next round with the way it is right now. But I will say this, it was a good run at least at the end of Q3 there. Shame you wouldn't be able to continue it forward. Do you think you can get back into the points in today's race?
If I get the free choice of tires, yes, but I don't know because those mediums are quite low now from the impact. They've just hit that barrier up, so hopefully I get a free choice. If not, I don't mind.
All right, well, shame to see you out, but I do want to say thanks for being willing to jump in and talk with us. Sadly, we've become extremely familiar with each other, you and I.
Yeah, let's hope not in the race now. But at least we've had our weekly chat.
Yeah, indeed, and hopefully this is the only one, and if I do chat to you again, it's after the race is over for a good run.
Yeah, hopefully.
All right, well, the good news is, before you leave, the good news is there has been improvement by exits to spots time, so you are now out of the top 10. So yeah, without a doubt, you will get a free choice of tires at the start of the race now.
Happy days. Bye-bye.
All right, farewell. And that's the word from Constant Jet. So Jigsaw had an issue, and he was not able to get a lap in. And now Harry has gone 3 laps on this set of tires. He is very nearly out of fuel, and he has invalidated every single lap. So one of the fastest drivers in Q1 having massive issues here in Q2. And right now, as it stands, Ocean Lion is the barrier, 134.303. Herbago is on the outside looking in. Jigsaw and Harry have not been able to set laps thus far. Right now, it seems like what we saw in the last session, you set times in the 33s, you're golden. Also of note, at the top of the timesheets right now is Boothie on soft tires. As we look at best right now, everyone with the exception of Boothie and Stone Shuffle have set their best lap on the softs. So. Jigsaw is on an out lap now. Herbago is in the middle of a lap, and he's up by about 1/3 of a second. But that in itself would not be enough to get him over Constant Jet. Now he's up by over 2/3 of a second. That might be enough to get him over Constant Jet, but that's not going to be enough to get him over Ocean Lion. He needs to improve by over a full second if he wants to squeeze Ocean Lion out. The good news is the car is very light on fuel. This is the fastest it's going to be. Final corner for the Mercedes. And across the line, Herbago, does he improve in? Yes, he does. 33.847. Now X is back on the bubble, and Ocean Lion is on the outside looking in once more. The focus goes to Jigsaw now. He crosses the line to get another lap going. It's going to be Jigsaw trying to knock X's spot out because with 1 minute and 35 seconds left, there's no chance for Ocean Lion to get out onto the circuit. So right now, it's just a question of can Jigsaw squeeze X the spot out? Jigsaw will have enough time for this lap only by the looks of it. Schumacher is also out on circuit right now. I think he's put on soft tires. No, he still is on mediums, actually. That's interesting. But right now, Stone Shuffle, Snake, and Boothie are in right now. Stone Shuffle and Boothie, the only ones in on softs. Everyone else on mediums. And Jigsaw trying to do the same. 52.780 at the end of Sector 2 there. .43 seconds left. Ooh, big twitch there. Schumacher is still on track, cycling through with the same set of tires he's been on for a while. I have to wonder if maybe they're trying to emulate a fuel run for him, or at least the start of a fuel run. All right, out of the final corner is Gusty. He'll cross the line. He's in, 33.817. Schumacher is on the bubble, but with exits to spot and Ocean Line still in pit lane, it kind of doesn't matter because the time's up. Schumacher is in, as long as he doesn't crash out, that is. So with that in mind, the session's basically over. So both Ferraris and both Mercedes make it in, but only one of the Red Bulls, the championship containing Red Bull, makes it into the next round. And yeah, it does seem like, at least to me, that Schumacher was emulating a race run, or at least part of a race run on fuel, considering how long he was out there on that set of mediums after putting a time that was good enough to get him in. It did get a little bit close there, but neither of the I forgot. Oh, nice, very nice. A lot of time saved there. So now both Ferraris at the top. Although Schumacher's going to be on some very worn mediums to start the race, though. What is this? That is... Oh, yeah, they're Williams. Okay, I was remembering right. But yeah, neither Williams advanced to the next round. And for Harry, frustration, numerous invalid laps, and he was not able to get back onto the circuit in time. So Harry's going to be relegated to a 15th place starting spot. And with this, with Jigsaw coming in pit lane, and apparently in the Aston Martin camp, there's a lot of hand-wringing because while Boothie has the fastest time by about 8/10 over Chubby Spark, all except himself and Stone Shuffle have set their times on mediums, and they are not feeling very confident now in the Aston Martin camp. So there's your result. I'm sure this is one of the few times that Constantine is actually happy he's not starting in the top 10. But yeah, only one Red Bull advances, only one Alpine advances. And yes, due to bad scenarios, no Aston Martin, only one Aston Martin's here, only one McLaren, no Williams, and no Alfa Romeos in the final round of qualifying. I'm sorry about that. I'm going to check something real quickly here. So now the question is, who's going to be the first to come out on circuit? There's still a little bit of confusion and hand-wringing going on in the Aston Martin camp, so I can guarantee you it's not going to be Boothie. But it looks like Jalebin is going to be the first driver to come out onto the circuit. And there's a lot of people coming out all at once, it seems. But in the Haas camp, Jalebin's going to be in a good position. Clean track ahead of him. So everyone except for Boothie and Schumacher are on circuit. And even as I say that, Schumacher has now come out onto the track as well. So 9 of our 10 drivers all out on circuit. The big thing for Stone Shuffle, though, he needs to get the best starting position possible. He set his time in qualifying on the soft tires. And apparently we're getting word that rain is in the area, so this lap may be the only lap that some of these guys are able to get in. As you see, Chubby Spark moves by. So they're anticipating rain in about 5 minutes time on the circuit. If that happens, this first lap is what's going to matter. And that would mean that Chubby Spark is in the best scenario. And that would put Boothie in a horrible spot. Now you see Jalebin pulling off the back of Chubby. Is rain going to fall? That's going to be the question here. Because if rain falls, then whoever gets their lap across the line first, the first few guys who get across the line will be in the best scenario. Chubby is across. Now Jalebin crosses. Lucky Do crosses. Here comes Jigsaw. He'll come across the line and will be joined right afterwards by Gusty crossing the line. Now we see Snake. He's going to come by. He'll start his lap. And then the 2 Mercedes. Herbago will be leading his teammate Stone Shuffle, and if Herbago has an instant that invalidates the lap, he can pull back just a little bit and try to give Stone Shuffle a DRS drag down the back straightaway to try and help his teammates time. Schumacher has also crossed the line for his lap. But at the front, it's Chubby and Jalebin. They will be the first 2 drivers to set times in the session. For Jalebin in the Haas at the end of Sector 2. Boothie now on an out lap. The good news for Boothie is that there's a lot of clean track ahead of him, and there will likely be a lot of people coming into the pits about the time he's going to start his proper flyer. So it will be a very clean track for him, assuming the rain doesn't come in and be an issue. Snake has had invalidated, and he pulls out, so he doesn't want to compromise anyone else's laps. Chubby and Jalebin coming to the line now. There's still sunlight on the circuit, so these 2 could go for another lap by the looks of it. 32.280 at the top for Chubby. Now Jalebin comes to the line, 32.454. Now we see Lucky Do. He comes to the line, 32.625. Jigsaw has aborted. Gusty coming to the line now. 32.558. Now here come the Mercedes drivers. Herbago comes across. 32.667. Stone Shuffle, front row for the moment, 32.332. And Schumacher, 32.489. Snake invalidated that lap, so he's going again. Boothie in the middle of the lap. Jigsaw came into the pits. So for these three, they may be in the danger zone, because if rain does come, it could very badly affect their chances at putting a reasonable time in. Boothie coming to the line now. He's beginning his lap. Jigsaw and the Alpine still in the pit lane. Every second he spins there is going to be less and less likely he'll be able to get a good lap in. They're finally coming down pit lane in the Alpine camp for Jigsaw. And now we're seeing everyone who just set their laps. They're all coming into the pits right now. Gussie goes for another lap. He did not improve that second time, but Gussie is going for another lap. So there's a possibility that Gussie is overfueled. Assuming the track is dry, he'll be lighter and faster now. The counterpoint, though, is that his tires are going to have even more wear. Snake has aborted, so Snake is not getting a lap in yet. Big twitch for Boothie there, as he's coming to the line to get a lap in. Oh, and he's around, and he's hard into the inside wall. Massive accident for Boothie. He pushed too hard, and the car stepped on him in the last corner, and the machine is destroyed. And that's it for Boothie. As now Jigsaw coming to the line. He's going to try and get a lap in. I'm seeing movement in the Ferrari camp. So Shelby Spark coming back on circuit, as is Jalebin. So they want to risk it. They think that they might be able to get another faster lap in before the rain comes. All right, coming into the party now is Boothie. Boothie, we were riding on board with you for that entire lap, but that car seemed to snap out. What happened? Boothie, can you hear me? Alright, Boothie does not seem to be able to stay connected. Snake is on an outlap, so he's going for another run at it. Right now, the only person who's not going again on the circuit is Stone Shuffle. So in the Mercedes camp, they're deciding to protect the car for their number one driver. Gussie finally coming into the pits. Jigsaw aborted his first attempt, and I think I might be seeing rain. Yes, I'm seeing rain on the circuit. Not a lot, but the rain is definitely beginning to fall, so I don't think we're going to see anybody really improving their laps. Jigsaw just needs the track to stay dry enough that he can get this lap in, so he can at least get 8th place starting spot. Jigsaw, third, 132.396, so a very respectable lap by Jigsaw as the track was beginning to wetten up. Now the focus goes to Snake. But yeah, there's definitely rain now beginning to fall on the circuit. So for Snake, he just is trying to get a lap in. For the other drivers on circuit, I imagine a lot of them will start coming into the... No one is coming in. Everyone is going to try and get a faster lap in on a wettening track. This could go very badly because there's a high risk that some of these drivers might end up destroying their cars. I'm going to try and get Boothie in one more time. Oh, someone's had an instant there. Oh, nope, never mind. I'm going to try and get Boothie in one more time. All right, and coming into the party is Boothie. Boothie, can you hear us? No, he cannot. So it seems like a connection issue is keeping him from being able to reach out and talk with us. As we watch Snake as he's desperately trying to get a lap in. Oh, big twitch there coming into Sector 3. Gusty is on an outlap again. We're now seeing drivers start to cross the line or abort. But again, the track is wet. They're not going to be able to improve. All right, here comes Snake. He'll try and be the 9th driver to get a time in for this session. All right, and coming in the party again is Boothie. Boothie, can you hear us? And Snake finally crosses the line with a 33.5 and immediately jumps off the throttle. He does not want to damage the car. Despite the wet weather, Shelby is actually very close to his fastest time, at least at the end of Sector 1, although part of that is because the car is really light on fuel right now. He's fallen off a bit more, though, in Sector 2, so I don't think Shelby's going to improve, but he's putting up times that are very comparable to what he did on the normally dry track. Oh, big twitch, and he's around! Doesn't hit anything, though. Great save, though, by Shelby Spark, keeping the car under control, and I think with that, he'll bring an end to this experiment, and I think everyone else will as well. So we do not seem to be able to get Boothie to communicate with us at all. He joins the party, but is not able to, we cannot hear him in the broadcast booth. For Stone Shuffle, nothing lost, nothing gained. He has saved a set of tires by only going out that one time. So that may work out in his favor, but Stone Shuffle is going to be starting the race on softs, while everyone else in the top 9 will be starting on medium. So he'll get a great run at the start. Schumacher just does not want to deal with the risk of sliding off there as the track is wetting up rapidly. But yeah, it looks like everyone's going to come into the pits. And Q3 will come to a slightly early end here. Well, we've heard a spin and win before, but for Shelby Spark, it's going to be a spin and pull. And there's your result. The top 10 at the end, and rain coming near the end basically means that everyone's first lap was their best time. I do want to say great job on Jigsaw, though. Despite the fact that the track was wetting up, he puts in a top 3 time. I think if the track was dry, I think Jigsaw could have very seriously contended for the pole. So now it's the 5-minute wait until we get into the race itself. Oh, and this is very interesting. Everyone from 11th on back right now is currently deciding to start the race on hard tires. So a lot of people trying to go for a single stop race by the looks of it. I'm shocked we're not seeing, at least right now, we're not seeing any changes at the back of the grid. Huh. Just stand by right now, waiting for the start of the race, but we are seeing some changes when it comes to starting strategy, at least. So right now, we are starting to see a little bit of change when it comes to strategy near the back. Constant Jet electing to start on softs. Ocean Lion and exits the spot, thinking mediums are the best thing to start on now. And Boothy, well, he's still going to start on those worn softs, so it's going to be very interesting. But now we're seeing a little bit of spread out, but still, the back 6 drivers in this grid think that the best option for this race is to start on the hard tire compounds. We should be getting underway in a little bit of time here. Just stand by, waiting to get underway. Should be doing it any moment now. All right, and coming into the party right now is PZ French Fry Man. So, new broadcaster for the league, for the moment at least. Hopefully it works out for him that he's going to be able to get properly connected. So we do have a new broadcaster who will be joining us for today. This is his first race. He's going to be with us. PZ French Fry Man has earned a lot of accolades, but his background, like mine, is in the Forza Motorsport series of games. Two-time champion in the, what was at that point, NASCAR Xbox One Cup Series, now known as OSRL. Also has taken a few victories in various types of GT racing. Following Formula One a little more closely, got the chance to come in and do broadcasting with us. Although right now it seems like things are not working out. PZ, are you able to hear us?
Yes, I do. Sorry for being late. Good evening, everyone.
Alright, well, we're about to get underway for the race in the final 21-second countdown to the start of the event here. Don't know if you're in the lobby or not to watch, but if you are and you
I
catch
do.
the start of the race.
I do be already in the lobby.
All right, cool. Just keep an eye on the back for the first lap, so if something happens, you go ahead and cut in and interrupt me as we prepare to get underway here. 19-car
No
field,
problem.
2 of your championship contenders on the front row. 4 lights, 5 lights. And it's lights out. Away we go here at Shanghai. And right off the bat, you can see great moves by the McLarens from the back. Look at Jigsaw with a big run on the outside. He's going to overtake the Mercedes, but he can't overtake the Ferrari going through turn 1.
Well, I saw an AlphaTauri in the grass on the inside of 1. He is back on the racing line. But it seems like he fell down in the order, and he's still falling down the order. Oh, and yellow out in sector 1. I believe
Plastic
that was...
Love has had an incident in the Red Bull, so more frustrations in the Red Bull camp. Oh, Gusty gets run off circuit by Schumacher, and he's gonna lose 2, 3. He gets hit in the side now, but X hits the spot. There may be damage on X's car as the one of your championship contenders is now falling drastically through the grid.
This is really being a chaotic start to this race, but top of the charts, Chubby Spark is still clear of all this mess behind him.
Chubby Spark, your point leader, coming into today's race, takes home pole in a little bit of a spin and pull scenario, and now he's out there trying to open up the biggest gap possible so he can enable the best tire strategy possible. Of everyone who started the race on hard tires, Mantic Meerkat has rebounded the best thus far. He is up into 12th at the moment. Stone Shuffle started on the front row, lost second to Jigsaw, but has not been able to do anything else since, as the front of the field is all starting to spread out. You have to go back to about 4th to start seeing actual fights, as X's spot has come into the pits to repair damage to that car after he got into it with Gusty.
And race direction also hits him with a 5-second penalty for entering the pits too fast.
And this is one of those circuits where strategy is king, so, you know, bad time penalties might not be as bad near the end of the race. And you could serve that later if we have a full course yellow. And he pits under that, but still, it's a bad hole you don't want to get yourself too far into, otherwise you run the risk of ruining your entire event.
Yeah, and the problem also with Shanghai is, well, last time I ran on it, Shanghai felt like it was a track that literally eats up tires, especially if the compounds available are soft and mediums. Well, and
Also,
we
I
got
do want to say I
spin,
was...
Fratters.
And that's Boothie. Boothie has spun out of the top 10 positions on those very worn soft tires, and he goes right out of the top spot. And yeah, I didn't catch that, but yeah, Fratters also spins in almost the exact same part of the racetrack.
Boothie almost taken out Ocean Lion as he had his back end a little loose before entering the long backstretch.
You see now Flavor trying to fight with Boothie there for that position. DRS has been enabled. That's no issue for Chubby Spark, though. He has opened up a 1.8 second gap on the rest of the field, and that's Plastic Love in the Red Bull, who spins as well. So now I have to wonder if there may be something wrong there at the start of Sector 3, because we've seen 3 different guys spin at the same part of the track now on that last lap alone.
Well, this turn in itself is really tricky to master, because you feel like you could hammer the throttle, but you still have to be really smooth with it, because it is also a really slightly very sketchy spot of the circuit.
Oh, Davey, our big twitch out, and Mantic Meerkat's off circuit just ahead of him. Meerkat spins way off circuit, bangs into an outside barrier, and damages the front wing. That was a spot for a points-paying position. And for the Aston Martin team, who have been trying to fight to regain the lead in the Constructors' Championship, that will set them back a little bit farther.
Well, on the upside of this, he still has 25 laps trying to catch up to the leaders. But it
For
really
second position, Stone Shuffle on Jigsaw, neck and neck in the hairpin.
Still fighting the Alpine, still gets the advantage for the next corner. Will he retain the lead? Nope. So the Mercedes just flew by on the outside.
But now the Alpine has the DRS down the start-finish line straight. Will he try and pull alongside going into one? The answer seems to be no.
Looks like he's trying to go for the inside. Ooh, and Stone Shuffle just closes the door on him on the apex of one. Can he try to fight back in the second corner? I don't think, but still. Did he try the lunge? Oh, way too far back.
And if these two keep fighting like this, not only will it let Chubby Spark walk off with the race lead, it also runs the risk of bringing Herbago into the fight. Oh,
And
he gets
just
around!
off it.
All on his own! No damage, he hits nothing, but that will definitely eat up some of the tire life, and he will drop out of the points-paying positions now.
Well, now he has to pay attention to the temperature of his rear tire, because the harder they are, the less grip they provide, especially with the softer compounds. So we might see him spin once more in this turn right in front of Harry.
He's putting the power down, coming onto the straight, and it looks like Jigsaw may have saved and conserved the tires just well enough that he will maintain a points-paying position in 9th behind his teammate Constant Jet. But for Jigsaw,
Right.
who's
Is he trying to go on the inside? Yes, he is. Is he too far back? No, he actually makes it. The Alpine is fighting back.
For Jigsaw, though, an outside threat in the championship trying to close back in. It's not going to help. He was more than a race worth of points out of the points lead coming into this race. He needs something to happen now to all three of your main championship contenders who are ranked top 6.
Three-way fight. Maybe a four-way fight, and the Williams is just going down the order. After it, I might have seen some contact with Dave Ewart in the Alfa Romeo.
They're still side by side for 12, although it looks like Boothby has the car ahead. The Williams sends it deep in, and there's contact in the apex. I don't see any damage to the Williams machine.
If there is some damage to be seen, it's mostly on the Alfa Romeo, especially in the left side pod.
And well, this league only runs partial damage, so really the only damage you can actually take
Boothby
is...
almost lost it behind.
And that gives Ocean Lion a chance to get alongside him down the straightaway. Neck and neck down the... Remember, Boothby is starting the race on very worn soft tires, so I think those tires may have already passed their life expectancy. They're 3 wide. Oh!
Ocean Lion coming from way far back. It actually takes back to the 11th spot.
Outstanding job. And now, though, Dave Ewart will have the DRS fighting back against the Williams down that straight.
He actually does, going back in the inside. And he actually... Naked. Yes, he is. And XRL Snake trying to sneak. But now he's on the outside of 2. And Dave retains the 11th spot. It really feels like he's able to put the power down much more earlier than the guys behind him. Seeing the advantage he gets on the exit of every turn.
Snake seems to be falling off just a bit from the fight between Ocean Lion and Dave. The Ocean Lion, big twitch there in Sector 2. That backs the Williams up to the McLaren again. And now this means Ocean Lion, he's going to try and get back in the DRS range. He is in DRS range, so he'll have DRS on the Alfa Romeo for 11th. The frustrating part is all this fantastic fighting, but these are not for points-paying positions.
Williams with the DRS gets the advantage back. As Dave is falling down the order, XRL Snake might be sticking a move. Thought he might. Oh, Williams got him way outside the zone. Still gets the advantage for the last corner.
Oh, Ocean Lion is up and hits Dave and barely misses Boothie. And he's off, and that happened just as Dave Ewar had come into the pits to put on new rubber. But we will continue under racing conditions, but for Ocean Lion, a good fight goes bad.
Kind of feel sorry for the man, because he was fighting tooth and nails to actually try to get back this 11th spot. But we are in the first pit cycle of this race. Oh, there's a little bit of contact between Boothie and Snake.
And Jigsaw has spun off. And now he has dropped as a second spin on this set of tires, and he has now dropped out of the points paying positions. Meanwhile, near the front of the field, though, the top three all have gaps on each other, but fourth is right there behind Herbago. And we may see a Haas versus Mercedes fight. And the number 2 Ferrari driver is there as well, ready to capitalize. No one's close enough to make a move on each other down that back straightaway. But Leben is right underneath the Mercedes now, coming out of the hairpin. And if they can just navigate the final corner properly, the Haas might have a run on the Mercedes down the straight. There it is.
And the Owl's going on the outside of 1. Closes on the Herbago.
Herbago's around!
Did he save it? He actually
he
does.
saved it,
That
all right.
was a save. That was a save and a half, but now he's fighting against the Ferrari back there. The outside.
Looks like he'll be able
puts
to
the power down,
hold.
and the Ferrari on the outside. Brilliant move by Schumacher SF7. Now he will have to defend his position. I believe that will not be too hard of a job. Since it really feels like Herbago is trying to nurse his tire to try to cool them down and actually get the grip back. Go. Yellow in sector 2.
So a pair of number 2 drivers fighting for the 4th position, along with 11. Oh, and Herbago's around there in sector 3, and he barely misses the Red Bull
That was
and the AlphaTauri, but
that was some mad reflexes from Gusty.
woo, and that's why Gusty is a title contender. So now all 3 of our title fighters are in the top 5 positions now, as 11 is fighting with Schumacher for 3rd. Jigsaw gets by Boothie now for the 10th position. So the Alpine back into the points paint spots. Boothie really stressing the life out of those soft tires. Oh, and he's around! And he's into the inside wall! And front wing damage for Boothie! And there's your virtual safety
And the
car.
VSC is out. So I
And this
believe that
might
makes
work
it-
out well for some of the drivers farther back on the grid. Well, no, because it doesn't, because everyone farther back has already made stops. So I guess not. Oh, and Herbago has spun again under VSC in the same spot that he nearly lost it last lap. And now the second Mercedes has fallen to 9th. Well, when we go back to green, the fight will be for 5th. That will be the interesting one because Gusty is is only a little less than a second ahead of Lucky Do, or about that gap. So it may be 2 Honda-powered cars going at for a position.
really feels baffling to me that the tires, on whether it be mediums or soft, that there's always a couple of turns where people cannot actually put the power down properly. It really boggles me. Oh, and race director saying for Plastic Glove, a pit lane pass through for excessive speed under VSC. That is...
Now we're back under green, but yeah, for Classic Love, bad day continues to go worse. This would likely trap him in the back of the grid. Now here's the interesting thing. Your race leader, Shelby Spark, has elected to pit after the end of the VSC, so he's going to give up a bunch of track position to get onto new tires now.
Well, after the VSC, I wouldn't say so. I would say at the end of the VSC, because he was already past the pit lane entrance.
Did he not
when the
change
VSC was
tires?
out?
Did Shelby not change tires? They may have missed the pit box. Yeah, because he's coming to the pits, but there's nothing different on the car as far as I can tell.
Maybe a new set of mediums?
No, he's not made a stop. Did he serve a drive-through penalty? Did he get awarded a drive-through penalty that I missed or something?
Yes, he might, because I think I saw a notification coming from race direction. It might have been him.
Well, it's going to be very difficult because at this point, although he's been the fastest driver on track for most of the day, at this point the tires are dead, and not dead, but they're falling off. The driver right of him, Harry, is actually going to be on a better set of tires right now, and everyone farther up now basically has nearly an entire free stop. So for your points leader, goes from a great day to a bad day.
This looks a bit dangerous, but as far as I can tell, Chubby is actually the only one I didn't saw actually spun his car. So in the race where everyone is making mistakes or actually losing their car in the exit of turns, if he is the only one that can make his race without doing any mistakes of the sort, he might be able to actually claw back what he lost.
Well, he's clawed back one position. He's up into the 5th spot now. 5.8 seconds up the road is one of his two title rivals, Gusty, in 4th position. Gusty continuing to fight out with Lucky Do as two Honda-powered machines are going at it here. No love lost between these two, though. The good news for Chubby is that he does have a teammate up there in 2nd, and Schumacher has said several times over the last few weeks he will do everything he can to try and help his teammate with the title here. So he might be able to back up Lucky Do and Gusty a bit and bring them back into the fight for Shelby Spark.
Looking at the time intervals, it looks like Chubby Spark actually clawed back 0.4 of a second, if not more. So not only is he running on pretty dead tires, but he is still the fastest man on track.
Another thing to consider, we have not had a full course safety car today. We've only had a single VSC. So with that in mind, the field is not nearly as spread as I thought it would be. I thought we'd be seeing a lot more division and spreading out in the field, but there's still a lot of decent battling going on.
And we had a lot of battles, especially for that 11th spot a couple laps earlier.
Lucky Do's into the pits out of the top 3 positions.
And so that is another free spot for Chubby, and he actually goes fastest with worn tires. If he can keep it up, he will probably be on the podium. I cannot call a win right away, but at least a podium.
Well, here's some interesting things to consider, though. 2nd and 3rd, Schumacher SF7 and Gusty, they underfueled their cars. They were expecting more yellows, and they're now pulling back on their pace, I imagine, to try and conserve fuel. But as I look further back through the grid, you have to go back to Flavor in 8th to see another driver who's conserving fuel. And then after that, it's not until you get back to Herbago in 11th. So right now, this extended time under green flag conditions seems to be benefiting Shelby and Stone Shuffle more than a lot of other drivers right now because they are properly fueled at the moment.
Well, there's one way to prepare your race. You either go with a lot less fuel and you try to be conservative, hoping the race will have some
Christ! I'm sorry about that. Costin Jet spun off, and when he tried merging back onto the circuit, he very nearly took out his teammate Jigsaw.
And I see him struggling with the grip of his tires, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see another spin come in the next minute or so.
A very driver challenging corner coming onto the back straightaway that gradually widens and gets faster and faster. But it looks like he's navigated it well, so I think he'll be fine. Dave Ewart takes 9th from Herbago now. And Jelebin in 6th.
Gets the fastest lap of the race.
But Jelebin is on fresh, considerably fresh rubber compared to everyone else, so that still says good for Chubby Spark at least.
And looking at it, Chubby actually clawed back again sometime. I think he clawed back a second.
Yeah, he's clawed back a little bit more than a second over the last few laps.
So
but again, I think part of that is because the 2 drivers ahead of him are backing off, because he's not, it doesn't look like he's closing that much on Stone Shuffle in 1st, but he's definitely closing on 2nd and 3rd right now.
Catching leaders back a second lap means we might see him mixing with the podium guys in about 4 or 5 laps if everything goes alright.
Big thing is, though, everyone in the top 5 still need to make a pit stop at some point in this event. And I think they're all betting on eventually a full course safety car coming out, and they're waiting to pit for that.
That is a weird assumption to make, especially at Shanghai, where the runoff areas are way wider than most of the tracks I can think of. So
yeah, but the counterpoint to that, though, is that XRL's X3 division has never had a race go without a full course safety car.
Well, this might be
and it's been running for about 4 seasons. Yeah, it might be first. We're about halfway through this event. I will say this, though, with the way it's gone right now, if we get a full course safety car, like right now, let's say, oh, and Snake and Jigsaw fighting for 11th, and Jigsaw backed by Snake. But if we got a full course safety car now, the drivers who would be in the best positions would be Jelebin in 6th and Lucky Do in 7th, because they are the highest up the grid on tires that should be able to make it to the end of this race. They would get a massive track position advantage. Now, I don't know if they'd be able to get over Stone Shuffle, but they would definitely overtake the 4 drivers ahead of them, Harry, Chubby, Dusty, and Schumacher to the race in. Or at least
Chubby has actually caught the 2nd and 3rd. So yeah, you were right. They are actually packing up.
And this is going to be where it gets interesting, because Gusty is one of your 3 title contenders, and Schumacher has said he'll do everything to help his teammate out. So I will imagine we'll see some Ferrari shenanigans to try and get Shelby ahead of both of them. Oh, and Gusty's not having any part of it. Meerkat crash!
Oh. Meerkat is
that a full course yellow? No word for full course yellow yet, but Gusty saw that and he reacted, anticipating a full course yellow.
This might not have been
Nope.
the one.
So we stay green.
It wasn't. Just like I said, the Shanghai International Circuit has really wide runoff areas. So even though you have someone that is actually off the track and cannot go again, it'll be.
Boothy's had another spin coming out of the hairpin.
It's not a full
and
course
Fratters
yellow.
is
It is a VSC, but still.
So this could get interesting, because both of the Ferrari drivers need to get on new tires sooner rather than later, but they're obviously not going to want to double stack, so...
Who's gonna get in first is the question.
Well, here's the other thing. If we go green flag racing again before the leaders get to the line, it may not really change anything, but...
Yeah, but the question is here, do you actually... Does Schumacher goes in first and try to... and leave the spot for Chubby?
Yeah, we're back under green now.
Does Chubby go in and then try to, again, do the same like he did these last 10 laps and try to claw back what he lost. Oh, and Chubby goes in
There's
first.
your answer. Schumacher is staying out. Chubby is coming in. Stone Shuffle also went ahead and pitted under this. So right now, Schumacher will have the lead over Stone Shuffle, as Shuffle is still in the pit lane. Shuffle's going to fall behind Harry as well. Harry is really maximizing the hard tires. Harry's going to be in a great position whenever if a full course yellow falls, because he'll be able to jump onto softs to the end.
Even though we saw a lot of people actually spin a lot of yellows and 2 VSCs thus far, I don't think we'll see a full course yellow. It might happen, but I wouldn't count on it. So, Chubby back on the track, 7th spot, 12 laps to claw back what he actually did.
He's caught Gusty, and they're both on hard tires, so they're both running hards to the end of the race. Interesting decision, but they're both electing to run hards to the end of the race. Gusty, not more than a second ahead of Chubby, so Chubby should get DRS on the Red Bull going down the back straightaway.
And he is catching back fast. I can tell this man is probably Shanghai probably feels like home to this guy, because he has, from what I saw today, he hadn't made any mistake on track. And he is probably one of the few that can have a mistake-free race and also have the strongest pace of them all.
There's McLaren that's off back there. That's Fratters in Sector 2, but he's back underway already. Jigsaw gets by Dave Ewart for 10th, going down the straight. The 2 leaders have come into the pits, Schumacher and Harry, so they don't want to run any longer on those old tires. So with that in mind, everyone has now completed the one mandatory stop for the race.
Well, DRS again for Chubby. Where will he pass on the outside?
Oh, he gets turned! He's turned! He's turned by Gusty!
We might be able to see some food later in the stands, but going back on track 10th doesn't look too good.
And your points leader knocked back to 10th position now. But Gusty now has another Ferrari to deal with behind, and Gusty still has to save fuel to the end of this race also.
So Chubby actually needs to do 11 quali laps if he wants to if he wants to actually go back where he was before that spin. Damn. Drama and controversy, just like the real one.
Well, the thing is, this basically gives Stone Shuffle the win by default, because Stone Shuffle has also not really made any mistakes today. He has 5 seconds over second place Lucky Doo. Stone Shuffle's on fresher tires, and Lucky Doo has time penalties while Stone Shuffle does not. So it looks like Stone Shuffle, and he's just at the fastest lap as well, so it looks like Stone Shuffle is going to come out of this race, likely with a very strong lead in the points. 11 laps to go at this point in the event. A little fight for 7th between Flavor and Vivago. Actually, I was wrong. Flavor has still not
Chubby
made
goes
a
by
top.
Jigsaw, doesn't make it too hard for him. No, never mind. He actually completes the pass before the apex of turn 1.
Jigsaw's trying to make it hard for Chubby, but it's kind of hard. Jigsaw's tires are significantly older, and he has not had the pace that Ferrari has had.
And I believe now those hard tires were actually on the temp. He looked for it, but he actually stayed back. Oh, Flavor goes wide. Side by side, entering second 2. And he makes it stick from 10th to 8th in a couple of corners. This is looking good for him, and hits the spot, gets the fastest lap, a 1:35.444, and I believe that is 3/10 faster than previous fastest lap.
But the difference is, X is on medium tires, and he's 17th basically with nothing to lose. Stone Shuffle is just kind of tracking about there in the race lead. So, well, Chubby Spark now sees the second Mercedes driver, Herbago, once again, and has DRS on him. So I don't know if he'll pull alongside. Ooh, Chubby, though, almost totally out of ERS, though. So he is going hard on the ERS now to try and make up the time that he's lost today. Oh, he's alongside, yeah, the hairpin, but not good enough on the power application.
Looked for it. New fastest lap. Harry with the Alfa Romeo. A tenth faster. 1:35.337. Chubby on the outside of T1. Can he make it stick?
Yep, he
Still
does.
goes side
Although
by
Herbago's
side.
not letting him by. And
he has the advantage going into 2. And there he made it stick. He makes the pass and goes to 7th.
Herbago laying on the ERS to try and get alongside the Ferrari going into the hairpin, but doesn't look like that's going to work out. Oh, but he very nearly clips the back of him.
Putting his nose right into his gearbox. And now that's the toughest part for Chubby. Actually claw back 7.3 seconds in less than 10 laps.
And the thing with Harry is that the next guy up on the track, who is 6.6 seconds up, Harry has on medium tires, so they're going to be faster than Chubby's hards. I'm going to be honest, I think that unless we have a late race yellow to bunch the field up, I think Chubby's basically locked into 7th position. The only things that might change that is still Schumacher and Gusty hanging out in 4th and 5th are still in positions where they need to save fuel. But everyone else doesn't seem to have to worry about that too much, at least in front of Chubby. In fact, you have to go now all the way back to Flavor in 13th to find someone else who's having fuel issues.
Really risky strategy, and well, at least for now, with that unfortunate spin of Chubby, really looks like Gusty and Schumacher can make it stick and actually keep their positions, the 4th and 5th.
For Stone Shuffle, though, this is absolutely great news. He came into Yas Marina leading the race last week, and then Chubby spun on the track right in front of him, and there was nowhere for Stone Shuffle to go. He was speared right into the side of the Ferrari. The Ferrari was able to continue, but the impact took Stone Shuffle out. He only completed 2 laps that race. So coming back with a win here will be absolutely great for Shuffle's chances to get back into the championship fight. Same with Gusty. Gusty just had a very middling day all week last week, and coming home 4th will really help him in the title fight as well. So,
and to this point in the intervals, in a sync
McLaren, Fratters around there, coming out of turn 2, but it looks like he'll get around going again without catching anyone else in the incidents.
That's a yellow in sector 1 and 2. Is it still Fratters around?
Yeah, it's still for Fratters because he's not quite up to speed yet, and he spun again. Coming in under braking, he spins coming up to that hairpin.
Yeah, that is the, what was it, the toughest
And this
thing.
means, it looks like Fratters, if he keeps having issues like that, he's going to go a lap down very shortly here.
Wow, that kind of stings. But,
All right, well, a fight for 5th is very much active. Schumacher still trying to conserve fuel, is trying to hold off Harry on faster tires, and the longer these two fight, the closer Chubby can close, but the gap is still over 5 seconds.
Harry and Schumacher fighting. Fastest backstory snake, 1:35.145. Will we be able to see a fastest lap under the 1:45s?
We may see someone farther outside the top 7, maybe jump in, throw
And
on softs
XRL
to go for fastest lap.
actually takes a 3-second penalty for repeated.
Well, that makes things interesting because Schumacher is just 3.5 seconds out of Gusty. So if Schumacher pushes, although it's going to be hard to because Schumacher still has to save fuel, but if Schumacher chooses to push, he might be able to get within those 3 seconds of Gusty and might be able to leapfrog him. Here comes Harry with the run, though.
That's really tough for the man because he is fighting against Harry. Can he? Does he stick on the outside, on the inside? No, he doesn't.
But Chubby has closed to 3.7 seconds out from his teammate now on that lap alone. So Chubby makes up 2 seconds in that lap alone. And Gelebin is pitting out of the top 4 positions. So there's something up with Gelebin. They are not going to be able to go to the end on that set of medium tires, apparently.
Schumacher looking inside, he spins out of 1.
And that does work out. Oh, and he's hit by Herbago! He comes back on the track, and Herbago spears into the rear of Schumacher, and Schumacher gets a 5-second penalty for merging on the track in front of Herbago.
This might be a nail in the coffin.
Jigsaw, and that promotes Jigsaw now up into 7th. Schumacher now falls to 6th, and there may be damage to that car. I don't see any, but there may be damage to that car. Shelby now up in 5th, and he's only 3.2 seconds out from Harry. Harry is just over 3 seconds out from Gusty, who is in 3rd. So Harry might, if he's able to put together some good laps, Harry might be able to overtake Gusty for a podium position here.
And I asked for fastest lap under 135, and we have. Ocean Lion
also
with a 134.848.
At the front, I've been watching the gap. The gap between 1st and 2nd is starting to close in. Stone Shuffle had a 5.5 second gap. It's now close to about 4.5 between Stone Shuffle and Lucky Do. Again, though, Stone Shuffle still has the advantage because he does not have time penalties, while Lucky Do does still have 3 seconds worth of time penalties against him.
Rubalgo going real slow. What's that?
Yeah, because he was the one who ran into Schumacher after Schumacher spun there in turn 1. So for the second Mercedes drivers, he's not going to be able to get into the points. He's going to have to come in, throw on a new front wing, new tires. He might be able to steal fastest lap if he gets lucky. But bad day, because it's been a good day for Herbago. He's been hanging out top 10 on pace all day long, but getting caught up in someone else's mess takes that away from him. Shelby now within 2.6 seconds of Harry on the circuit. So Shelby is actually closing on Harry, and Herbago retires in pit lane.
It's sad to see some terminal damage.
So Harry is now within 3 seconds of Gusty. And when the leader, Stone Shuffle, comes across the line, it will be 5 laps to go. Stone Shuffle, the gap between 1st and 2nd is now close to 3.8 seconds. So Lucky Do is charging now.
Oh, and that's a spin for... Oh, Chubby is out.
No, that's Schumacher. Schumacher is out.
Sorry about that.
And that's it! Their full course safety car! And now the entire race gets upended. I told you we've never had a full race without a safety car, and it happened again. Gusty gets a chance to come in, throw on new tires. Harry, Shelby, so everyone outside of the top 2 will get a chance to throw on fresh rubber.
And does that promote Chubby actually to the 3rd spot, or is he pitting? Yes, he is pitting.
He's pitting, yeah. Shelby's pitting. But he's 6 now, but this will be a good chance because here's the thing. Everyone from 3rd on back is on hard tire. All right, coming into the party now is Schumacher SF7. Schumacher, go ahead and include your audio. A spin in turn 1, and then 2 laps later, a spin coming onto the backstretch. What happened out there?
Tyres felt like dog crap. Re-entered the track. Did not expect Mercedes come around the corner that fast. It's my fault. I put my hands up. Should have looked on the mini map, but just trying to spin the car around. And then I just deployed. I've recently gone to no traction control, so deploying and put your foot down. Yeah, back end got away from me. So yeah.
Right. Absolutely nasty instant there that happened. Shame to see you out like this, but I will say it's great to see you back.
Yeah, cheers, man.
And yet it was great racing from you, and you were mixing it with a lot of people. Can you tell a little bit of this to us?
I was deliberately going slow to try and back the pack up into my teammate. I said this all along, I was going to do it. So I was on exit the corners, I was just slowly accelerating out instead of pinning it. And try not to spin as well because I've recently gone to no traction. And then keep backing people up into my teammates just so we can try and get into the championship. That's just plain and simple. I'm doing in the next few races is helping my teammate win the championship if I can. Yeah.
Well, for him, you probably did God's work, so thank you for coming in the booth with us.
That's right, speak to you soon, lads. Bye-bye.
Alright, well, that's the word from Schumacher. Do our 2 leaders on the hard tires pit. Lucky Do is going to pit, but Stone Shuffle elects to stay out on the hard tires.
Well,
so this is going to be really messy.
Everyone on the grid has soft tires except Stone Shuffle. Stone Shuffle actually stayed out because out of the 2 drivers that were on hard, him and Lucky Do, he is the one with the fresher hard tires. But now
well,
everyone is running on soft.
This is going to get interesting because here's the thing. The field is very spread out. We may not see the green flag until the white flag. So this might work out because there's not going to be any DRS. So although everyone behind is going to have faster rubber, as long as Stone Shuffle is good enough on corner exit, it won't matter. They may not be able to pass him.
This is going to get probably pretty intense.
Gusty is still hanging out there in 3rd, so this is going great for him, but this is, the safety car today, it came out so late, he's still in the hole when it comes to fuel mileage. Shelby is back there in 5th, but there's only one guy, Gusty, who has time penalties ahead of him. So I think this might still work out well for Stone Shuffle.
Gusty does have a 3-second penalty, so as far as he is concerned, Harry can actually be ahead of him if he stays within that 3-second window. This is also a great opportunity for Chubby to actually overtake him with this time penalty he has.
But right now, I think Chubby's biggest rivals has to be Stone Shuffle, because again, even if it finishes Stone Shuffle wins and Shelby 4th, that rips the championship points lead away from the Ferrari again. So. Yeah, so all 3 of our title contenders in very different, very difficult scenarios. I think the 2 people in the best case spots right now are 2nd and 4th place drivers, Jalebin and Harry. Jalebin can just send it on Stone Shuffle. He's going to have fresher tires, and it's only one guy ahead of him. Harry doesn't have time penalties. Gusty is still saving fuel. Oh, no, apparently in the Red Bull camp, they say that for Gusty, he's finally okay on fuel. So he can race normally to the end now, apparently. But, yeah, but Harry doesn't have time penalties. He can go hard.
The Red Bull crews say he is okay on fuel, but is he okay to race normally, or is he okay to actually push and try to go for a win?
Well, he has a time penalty and no one else around him does, so I think Gusty doesn't really have a chance to go for a win unless the top 2 drivers have an instant and then everyone behind starts racking up time penalties or spinning.
Yeah, well, very unlikely to happen. But still...
Well, the entire field, except for Fratters, has gathered up now. So we may be, no guarantee, but we may be looking at a NASCAR-style green-white checkered finish here, depending on how long it takes Fratters to catch up to the field.
Yes. Memory... Well, for those at home who don't know, both of us actually ran into some NASCAR leagues, and, well, the late races yellows. Damn.
Yeah.
I have some memories and a half, but I mean a 2 or single lap shootout. If Stone Shuffle can actually, well, not back the field, but actually retain the field as much as he can and still grab the win, is gonna be a prowess in itself.
Safety car coming in this lap, so we are not going to wait for Fratters to catch the back of the grid. So with that in mind, it's going to be a 2-lap shootout. There will be no DRS, so every overtake you see is going to be the matter of one of 2 things, either better driver talent or the person ahead making a mistake. all 3 championship contenders in the top 5 positions, and if you consider Jigsaw a title contender also, all 4 of them are in the top 6. But the men that have nothing to lose are Jelevin and Harry, and they may be in the best position to snipe the win from Stone Shuffle, who is on the worst, the hardest, and the oldest tires on the grid right now.
This is going to be pretty interesting. Oh,
And they're
be
off!
ready, everyone. And they're off again, racing back in Shanghai.
Gusty had a good run on Jelebin. Jelebin actually lost time on Stone Shuffle coming out of the final corner. No changes in the top 6 positions.
Chubby the save, everyone.
Oh, and Constance around! And he's into Flavor! No, he's not. Flavor avoided it, barely, but Flavor still had to go off circuit, so that's 2 drivers who are now out of points paying position.
Oh, and there's a spin in the front.
Gusty! Gusty! Around! One of your championship contenders, and there's a bunch of other drivers! Massive multi-car incident! Dave Ewart's out as well now! A bunch of drivers caught up in an incident that started when Gusty spun, and everyone freaked out. Jigsaw involved in the incident as well.
Your winners in this situation are XRL Snake and Lucky Do actually take the 3rd and 4th spot. Harry also
up
goes
into
back
2nd now. And now, oh, this could get interesting because Harry is 1.5 seconds out from Stone Shuffle, but he's on fresh sauce. Stone is on worn hards. Harry might be able to make a last lap charge after Stone Shuffle.
Oh, he is within
Gusty.
DRS range. This could be
Gusty
interesting.
back. There is no DRS though here at the end of this race. That's the thing, because we're so close to the
Yeah,
end.
it's the 3. What happened? And there's a spin.
Gusty,
There's a spin again.
again. So Gusty will not get points after this race. Here we are. We're coming to the white flag.
Oh.
Stone Shuffle has to hold off Harry and Lucky Do. Down the straight.
we
White
are.
flag
White
in the
flag.
air. Stone Shuffle leading across the line. Lucky Do has the fastest lap though.
1:33.51.
For the win. Harry on the outside.
Can he make it stick? The Mercedes is fighting back. He has the advantage in ring 2. And he
And
gets
Harry's
the
by.
And
Here comes Lucky Do
also
now.
makes it.
And now Stone Shuffle falls to 3rd. Next up will be Snake. Can Snake get by the Mercedes, who is plummeting here at the end of this race?
I believe Shuffle is actually doing some damage limitations right now. As XR Snake is trying to find a way around him.
Not really going to find very many chances to get by in Sector 2 unless the driver ahead makes a big mistake.
We're still having a dogfight with fucking Harry and Lucky Do.
But that will go in Harry's favor because Lucky Do has time penalties while Harry does not. All right, coming onto the back straightaway for the last time. Snake has a run on Stone Shuffle. He's in the Mercedes dress, but again, no DRS means it's not going to help. Shelby has a run on both of the guys ahead. Here comes Shelby for 4th.
Chubby,
He gets both of them! Shelby is going to recover from the incident earlier. He's going to come home 3rd. Stone Shuffle falls to 5th at the end of the race. Shelby actually gets 2nd because of Lucky Do's time penalties. And Shelby, who dominated the first third of the race and spent the rest of the day trying to recover, is going to add to his championship lead at the end of it.
That was some really outsider scenario.
Oh
Damn.
my goodness. Oh, and Fratters crashes coming to the checkered flag. Or is he crashed or is he out of fuel? Oh, he gets hit. Oh, a massive accident. And stalled on the track. And now the Haas crashes and flips over across the line. The McLaren out of fuel coming to the checkered flag. And the drivers behind had nowhere to go, or they didn't see him, and the Haas runs right into him and flips over across the start-finish line. I cannot believe any of that happened.
Very reminiscent of our years in NASCAR.
Yeah, you can say that again.
especially around Daytona. But still, that was some. I don't even have words for what I just witnessed, honestly.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, I have to agree
People
there.
going from the front to the back to the front again, and then spins and VSCs and damn, actually.
All right. Well, coming into the
That's a lot
party
to
right
process.
now is our race winner. I want to talk to this man, Harry. Harry, outstanding win. Congratulations on that run to the end. Walk us through the race from your perspective.
Well, I had a good Q1, got P5 in that. Q2 had a few dodgy runs, invalidated a couple of laps, so I didn't have enough time to go again, and the mediums would have been too worn to go again anyway. Started on the hards, run long, decided to go a lap longer than my strategy, picked up the pieces from other people's misfortune, onto fresh mediums, just tried to stick within DRS zones of other people just to try and pull me along, save the ERS. Safety car came out at a good time, otherwise it would have been a possible podium, but an unlikely one. Turned into a race win. Very unfortunate for the hard run, I can't remember who it was, Stone Shuffle. Because he was still on hards, caught the safety car at the wrong time, but good for me, and first win in XRL.
And what a massive first win that was. You executed the overtake on Stone Shuffle on the white flag on the white flag lap almost perfectly, mate. I just want to say, obviously, yeah, you had the better tires, but that was very expertly done.
Yeah,
I want to add that in as well. It was perfect, man, and you left just enough space for me, so honestly perfect, great overtake.
Yeah, thanks. So I was going to go to the inside, and then you defended the inside, so I just carried more speed around the outside and trusted the tyres would hold. So yeah, thanks for the space as well on the outside of turn 1.
All right, well, congratulations once again. Also, I want to go ahead and talk to the man who was leading at the white flag lap, led the most laps today, but Stone Shuffle, rough time. Make sure your auto is included, but what do you have to say about your day overall?
Should have been my win, honestly. I'm absolutely gutted. There was two things that happened there. There was a really opportune, and I have to be careful what I say here, Ferrari retirement just as I passed the pits, which left me out, which means I couldn't change off the hard tyre. And I'd been running great, keeping the gap, 4 or 5 seconds ahead of second place, just managing it absolutely fine. There was no danger. The person behind me had 3-second penalty as well, so it was net 7 or 8 seconds, so perfect, absolutely fine. Couldn't then pit for softs without sticking myself right in the pack, which I didn't want to do, which obviously cost Gusty, I think, because I think he got spun out round turn 1 and 2.
Yeah,
and then
involved in a massive multi-car incident on the restart was Gusty and ended up not getting any points.
Yeah. So I didn't want to be in the mid-pack because I knew that's what it would be like. So what I did was I relied on the drivers who would be up at the sharp end of the grid, being fair, like Harry was, and perhaps not so much like Chubby was with that move at the end, which was a bit Max Verstappen, like I have to say.
All right. Well, still, I have to say, Stone Shuffle, you dominated this race pretty much all day, well, almost all day long. You lost at the end, but still, you were able to come home with no time penalties and still came home in 5th position. So you can't be that upset. You at least mitigated the damage relatively well.
See, after last week, after being DNF'd with an incident ahead of me that wasn't that person's fault, that's not great points this week, and I was less than 3 seconds behind second place before that absolute dive into the end of the hairpin at the end of the straight, so it would have been second place, I'm pretty sure. So that I would have been happier with that. I would have been fine because I lost out to a driver who did a really excellent overtake on fresher tyres, and I think that was fair. I don't think it was fair what happened after that, so that's my
But still,
piece
you
anyway.
really defended it like a champ, and especially back in the field for the rest of the lap and trying to keep that 3rd position against the McLaren and I don't remember
And
what
the
car it was.
Ferrari, yeah.
And the Ferrari.
Yeah, I did what I could. I did what I could, and I thought I braked at a reasonable time there. And I went from a normal turn in, and all of a sudden there was a car right there. So I don't want to. Look, listen. I don't want to say any more because likelihood is I'll have a look at it again on my stream and decide what to do with it. But I thought I ran a pretty good race, and I did as best I could with hard tires that were sitting 25 to 30% wear on them against brand new softs, which was never gonna. I was never gonna keep first place, but I was on course to keep a really good finish.
All right. Well, Stone Shuffle, still definitely a recovery and some point after last week. There are less than a handful of races left. You're easily second in the championship points. Do you still think you have what it takes to snipe this title?
See what happens. I'm not going to commit because, like, you could go on a run, which is great, but then you can get a run where the safety cars and the VSCs are all over the place, or people having incidents, or you just can't tell. I mean, I'm in a decent position right now. We'll see what happens in the last few races.
All right. Well, thanks for being willing to jump in and talk with us. Now I want to talk to our actual second place finisher, Chubby Spark. Chubby, make sure your audio's included. Your entire race weekend today has been interesting. In qualifying, you set the fastest lap, then you try to go faster as the track is becoming wet. You spin, somehow didn't tear up the car, but you spun there, still started on the front row, dominated the first part of this race. Then, for whatever reason, you came into the pits and was behind, and then at the end, you pull off a massive dive bomb to get second. Like, there's so much stuff that goes on, and I probably missed some things. So go ahead, walk us through this entire weekend from your perspective.
Yeah, so I don't even know what to say. Me and Schumacher were trying to have a strategy where we were trying to tow each other along in qualifying. We were planning to do that in Q3, but obviously that didn't work out since there was a dash to get out, so that happened. I got pole. I actually was setting a quicker lap on my second lap, and then I invalidated at just before the end of the second sector. And then, as you said, I went out on another lap, tried to set a faster lap, and I spun. So that was that. Starting the race, pretty good start. Defended the inside. Jigsaw had a looker on the outside. Just didn't have the traction for that. First 10, 11 laps was good until the VSC. And down the back straight, I had a 5/10 gap on the Delta. And it started to go down as it ended, but I have a clip of it actually, like, I was not even red for like a millisecond on the thing. That's how I got the drive-through, and that's why I went in. But, yeah, I had pretty good pace on medium tires, so setting fastest laps even, like, at the end of my stint. But, yeah. And then I don't want to talk about this thing at lap, like, 20 with Gusty. That's now just happen in the incident reports. But, yeah. And then Schumacher, as you saw in chat this week, he's been trying out no TC, and he spun earlier, that a couple laps earlier. Was struggling with tires, and spun at the whatever it's called, the carousel. Is that what it's called? Let's see.
Now I just say it coming onto the backstretch, and that's normally what I say.
Yeah, he spun there. So. He's really been struggling with that. He was really trying to push and get away from Jigsaw, and he just spun. It's unfortunate. I thought he actually was going to have a really good pace. So.
All right, well, now the real big thing, though, the last two laps, that green-white checker finish. Walk us through that from your perspective, because you avoided that accident right at the start, and then we're still able to make the crazy time bombs. Just those last two laps, particularly, I got to hear that from your side.
Yeah, as you saw, I avoided that crash just barely. Me and who was in front of me? It was like Harry or something. Me and Harry both went off track to avoid. Or I think Harry actually got through, but I had to go out into the gravel to avoid. Then I got behind Snake, and I just saw carnage happening behind me. It was like NASCAR Daytona last lap. Easy, you'll enjoy that one.
Oh yeah,
NASCAR
sure.
Heat 5. It is. But yeah, it was NASCAR behind me in that turn. I was trying to save up all my ERS for the last lap because I saw Snake was blinking on the back straight in the first safety car lap, first green lap after the safety car. So I was gonna save it for the last lap move on him, and then, I'm just gonna be. I really tried to get past. So yeah, overall I think it was a good race. I think the game glitch gave me a drive-through, which kind of screwed up my race. But yeah, good race overall.
Well, still, without a doubt, like you said, you dominated that first early bit, and then the game glitch, you recovered from that to come home second. You're going to extend your points lead over Stone Shuffle, and then that coupled with neither Jigsaw or Gusty earning points, it looks like you may have just turned it into a two-man fight for the title now.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
Yeah, I won't keep you for too long because I can obviously tell just by your voice that you're absolutely bloody exhausted mentally from that.
I also did a 4-hour stint in 24 hours at Daytona yesterday, so I'm still exhausted.
Oh Christ!
I stayed up till 3 doing it. I'm
oh dear,
exhausted. So yeah.
Either way, either way, good job on the second. And that will pretty much wrap up our broadcast here. Very, very eclectic into the race, PZ. And I told you, X3 has never had a race without a full course yellow.
I was hoping for my first race to actually be the first race without a safety car, but yeah. Guess Karma said I'm wrong. But honestly, it wasn't that bad.
We got stupidly close, though. Yeah.
Yeah, but since the safety cars were really late in the race, I get to see what I saw a couple of years back when just running on ovals. So from that point on, we kind of knew where this was going.
Yeah, this is true, and I will say that in.
Not
Yeah, I will say I am glad to have you finally here. Your first race broadcasting for the XRL League. Obviously, you weren't here for qualifying, but I am curious. What were your thoughts overall from this event, and are you interested in continuing up with the broadcasting thing going forward?
Oh, sure. I'm really interested into broadcasting a couple more races with you. If maybe even be your second in charge. From that point on. My thoughts on this race. I think I will have to ask to the X3 drivers if, for a lot of them, it was the first time running without traction control, because I feel like, I know Shanghai is a really, really difficult track when it comes down to putting the power down and keeping the heat away from the tires, but it really felt like a lot of people were spinning, so I don't.
Well, part of that might also just be because the in this game the curbs are excessively aggressive, and the curbs like to spin people by themselves. Yeah. Well, anyways, this will pretty much wrap up the broadcast here for the XRL X3 race at China. In a little bit less than an hour on the main channel, you can catch the last China race of this weekend. That broadcast should be hosted by XRL Fiend, assuming that he's properly sobered up. But until next week, because next week I might be an off week, so I might be wrong there. But until next time, I've been your host for today's broadcast in St. Lear 13. I've been joined by PZ French Fry Man today in his first broadcast, and we look forward to seeing you again for the XRL series. Farewell and goodbye.